Those women who were later on in the pregnant when the famine happened, their offspring were more likely to develop diabetes and impaired glucose tolerance. So what happened way back then in the 1940s to these women when they were pregnant impacted on what their offspring in the 1960s, 70s, 80s and 90s were actually dying of. And that's what fetal programming is, and that's been a major interest. And certainly Simon Langley Evans has been at the forefront of this for many years. He worked in Southampton when all of this was emerging and developed a whole range of animal models to look at the effect. And we can confirm in these animal models that insults during pregnancy, nutritional insults during pregnancy, can have an impact on many risk factors for heart disease in the offspring. One of the experiments more recently that Simon and I did, however, showed that you can also program other aspects of metabolism. And this is actually an effect on this non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. These were rats. The mothers were fed either a normal diet or a low-protein diet. The offspring were born. They were just fed a normal diet, and we kept them for up to 18 months. For the first 9 months of their lives, there was nothing really different between them. By the time they reached old age, and 18 months is old age for a rat, those from the mothers on the low-protein diet developed what we call steatosis, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All these little white holes on the bottom picture there are where the fat was in their liver, compared to the normal animals up there. So it's not only about what you eat, what your mother ate can also impact on your susceptibility to these diseases. So if your mother had a nutritional insult of some sort, and then you get obese, your risk of developing steatosis or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease could be increased substantially. More recently, and perhaps more relevantly, another group, again down in Southampton, has shown you get the same thing happening if the mother was fed a high-fat diet during pregnancy. Now that's the natural experiment we've got going on at the moment. We've got more and more obese mothers giving birth. What's going to be the consequence of that for their offspring? If this is right, then they're potentially at risk of metabolic disease, including this non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. How does it happen? How can what your mother ate be impacting on what happens to you 40, 50, 60 years later? Exciting suggestion is it's something to do with what's called epigenetics. And when all else fails, go to Wikipedia, even though I tell all my students off for using it. What is epigenetics? In essence, it's changes in the expression of your genes, which produce all the proteins in your body, which regulate everything your body does, which doesn't change the genetic code. They're chemical modifications to how that genetic code is read, but you're not changing, it's not a mutation, it's not changing the genetic code. And it appears there are critical times when you're in the womb that if your mother's diet changes, Kevin Sinclair, for example, has got some data showing that B vitamins can have similar effects, that can change the chemical structure of your DNA, and that can carry on all the way through your life and impact on what diseases you're going to die of. So perhaps that's an excuse to say, well, I can't do anything about it. It was all down to my mother anyway, and we're stuck with what we've got. But more importantly, obviously, it's research in this area is vital to look at what we're doing to our offspring by the changes in our diet that we're seeing. Thank you. I'm sorry that went on a bit longer, as usual. I should thank all of my colleagues in nutritional sciences and leave you with the thought that you are in the good hands in the dedicated scientists who are in nutritional sciences. We're all behind our leader in the middle there who's up for world domination. As you can see, you've got most of the senior members of staff there. I should point out that was Red Nose Day, so not a normal day there. And I wouldn't have put it in if I'd known Mike was filming it, so I might have to doctor the film before I do it. Thank you very much. Let's not leave it on that one.